Welcome to the 24 Flix Entertainment Podcast. Get the latest in entertainment news. Listen to exciting and powerful interviews from artists, actors, directors, writers, comedians, and much, much more. Introducing your host for the show, Marty Jean-Louis.
I have a special guest for you today. I am so excited. I am beyond elated. Jenn Gotzon, welcome to the show.
Woohoo! I'm so excited. Marty, you know I love you to pieces and your family. And hello, everybody.
Hello. Well, welcome. We have so much to talk about. Well, let's start from the beginning for those that don't know you. For the one or two people in the world that does not know who you are.
Laugh out loud.
How did you get your start in acting?
Yeah. Well, it was a desire that I had when I was 15 years old in Pennsylvania. And I actually went down to the local modeling and acting agency. And my friend Chartreuse is who led and guided me. Then my drama teacher in high school didn't cast me in the play my senior year. And I asked her, what could I do to improve? And at that time, she let me know it's very difficult to succeed as an actor and that I didn't have enough talent. And so, Marty, how I got started was education. I went to 1 year of community college, and then I was fascinated by TV and film. And I went to the New York Conservatory of Dramatic Arts, to that conservatory, learning all about how to live truthfully under imaginative circumstances through a Meisner technique. And then when I moved to California, I continued my education. And it wasn't until around 2008 did I actually have what one would call your big break. And it was a miracle answer to prayer, which is a cool testimony. I got cast as Tricia Nixon, the president's daughter, picture picked, nor less, as an extra in the movie Frost Nixon. Well, this movie went on to being nominated for 5 Academy Awards. And while I was working on set, I was upgraded to a principal role. And God used that opportunity to launch my career. And since then, by His precious grace, I've worked regularly in faith-based movies. I think there's like over 25 of them that I'm one of the main characters in on Amazon. And they all have storylines that inspire and impact lives. And that's what my calling was when I was 15 years old. That led me into that modeling and acting agency.
So you're basically in every other faith-based film, correct?
You know, God has not allowed me to be in those major theatrical movies, as I would love so much to be able to work with the wonderful missionary filmmakers like the Kendrick brothers or the Irwin brothers. I would love that. And maybe one day that will happen.
Now, you met your husband. Let's talk about how you met your husband. And we're going to talk about the baby in a minute. But how did you meet your husband?
We met on a movie that was filming in Savannah, Georgia, called Sinking Sand. And he courted my heart as a friend with letters, like literally pen pal letters. And then we auditioned. I would get a direct offer, and I would say, hey, do you need any handsome men for your film? And then Jim would read, and then he would get cast, and then he would get a direct offer, and he would say, do you need any ladies for your film? And then I would audition. And so we ended up working on like over 10 films and
cute.
TV shows. And then he came to China with me when I had a modeling campaign out there, and they actually pulled him in for a modeling shoot and used his beautiful mug on a advertisement for skincare.
And how long ago was this since you guys officially started dating?
We started dating in 2014, and what are we in 20? So 6 years ago.
Wow. And then you got married, right? When did you get married?
We got married on the luckiest day of the year, St. Patty's Day in 2017. And Marty, we even had the audacity to film our wedding with multiple cameras, a drone, and a steady cam to be able
Wow.
to use for our film, The Farmer and the Belle Saving Santaland.
Yeah, we're going to
In the
get.
end credits.
I can't wait to get to that. And then you were pregnant.
Yes. We were pregnant during COVID, and our little baby, James, who's actually nursing right now, for all the mamas out there who have little babies,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so you could hear him like drinking in the background if you listen really close. Yeah, baby, you want to say hi? Want to say hi? Can you hear him?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not.
I can. I can. What's his name?
His name is Baby James, and he is 2 months today, and he's smiling right now. He says, "Hi, Marty." He's got a smile to you, Marty. It's the cutest thing in the world.
I can just see him right now.
And we're so happy he's healthy.
Now, you've been acting for a long time, and you decided to write a film with you and your husband. Now, let's have Jim come on and tell me how that all came about.
So I think I heard the question from my cubicle packaging items for shipping for our movie right now. It was, how did it all come about? The Farmer and the Belle, like
yes.
The beginning and the inception. Well, in the fall of 2016, this has been a 4-year journey for Jen and I. Jen had the idea that just dropped into her mind from up above and into her heart about a farmer and a female, and the nursery rhyme got into her head about the farmer in the Dell, and then she had a revelatory moment in the idea of the farmer and the Belle. And Belle is another word for beauty. So that was kind of the beginnings of the story's formation. And then we utilized aspects of our own life and peppered them into the story. We actually started writing scenes together. I would come to her apartment in New York, and we would just write scenes and scenarios and different characters. And I came up with these different ideas, and we started to formulate the story that way. And then we got really ambitious and decided to shoot the horse in pink onesie scene. Actually, after we had done like the initial concept creation, we hired Leo Partable from Act One Community, and he gave us a first draft. And we actually ended up shooting on December 21st, 22nd, and 23rd in New York City with, putting our own resources into it, hiring our friends, and shooting the one of the opening scenes of the movie, which still made the cut, and it's in the film where Jen is wearing a pink onesie with a horse and a matching colored pink onesie in the Flatiron District of Manhattan. So that is the inception of the project, and then over the next 3 years, we fine-tuned the script. We started to raise financing. We had partnered with our partner, Joel Bunkowski, by that time. It was actually right before we shot the other portion. And then, it just so happened. And then, we had our script locked in. It was not locked, but pretty well locked in. It had gotten a great coverage from Movie Guide. The structure was there. Everything was sound. And then we decided we wanted to try and reach that mom market that enjoys Hallmark movies. And providentially, Jen was reminded of somebody that she had met 20 years ago on an acting panel named Bob Sines. And he's also a screenwriter. And we made contact with him, and Bob said, "You don't remember me, do you, Jen?" And she didn't, because it was so long ago. But then he took our script and he agreed. The structure was there. The elements of the story were good, but it wasn't quite hitting that TV movie of the week feel. So he came through with the final stroke of a pen and just elevated everything to another level, giving us the finished product that you see now.
That's fantastic. So you're both actors and now you're filmmakers. A lot of filmmakers would start small, but you guys did not. You just jumped right into a big, ginormous movie. Why didn't you start small?
I believe it's because we worked so long in the film industry that it was just the natural progression of wanting to make artistic excellence on screen with a market reach and distribution and all the elements that we've seen succeed in the film, faith film that I've been a part of, and mainstream television that Jim's been a part of. And I believe that's why. And then Ted Baer at Movie Guide described how important it is when your Universal Studio films do merchandising. And so with that as the concept, that's how we developed our 3 products that are literally written into the movie and are standalone for their own sales, with an over-covering mission of what we're going out to do, which is to empower girls and women that their value and their physical appearance is not based on world standards, but based on what God tells us. And when we do what Romans says, be transformed by the renewing of our mind, psychologically, we're able to hold those lies, those negative thoughts captive, and overcome them with biblical truths to be able to find security and freedom in who God created us to be with our beauty. And so that's our overlying theme that you will see in our merchandise that appears through our movie.
Awesome.
And so I think that was the additional additive when we went out to create our film, was to be able to have an entire line to truly minister at large.
So let's go back just a bit. Now, talk to me about what is the movie about? What's the premise?
Absolutely. I have to tell you, James, my baby, is smiling right at you. It is the cutest thing in the world. I love it.
Aww.
Hey, baby.
I think he
baby.
likes me.
He does like you, Marty. So the movie is a fun family Christmas movie that was created to be like a yearly tradition to usher in the spirit of Christmas. And the premise, it follows this little girl who gets this heirloom bracelet with inscriptions about her beauty from her Grammy, telling her that beauty is on the inside. Well, she goes to this fun farm Christmas festival called Santaland, and she loses it in the pig pen. Well, as an adult, she's now become this very famous model, but she's at the end of her career where all she's known is about being pretty. And her agent tells her she's aging out, and her agent is played by Robert Amaya. And she realizes, you know what? I need to find that bracelet. And so she decides to overcome her fears of the farm and goes back and faces the cows, the chickens, the pigs, and the goats to be able to find this bracelet. And in doing so, she falls in love with her childhood pen pal, who's now the farmer, who's played by my husband, Jim Chandler. And she learns that true beauty is when you serve others. And she saves Santaland, the Christmas festival, and there's magical snow, of course. And so that is what The Farmer and the Belle, Saving Santaland, is about.
That is a fantastic story. And now I've got to ask, with every movie project, there are always some challenges. What were some of the biggest challenges that you guys faced?
I believe, just like James says, it's a little bit cry-worthy, raising the finances. Financial fundraising for the film made us cry.
Right.
So it took a while to be able to find who God wanted as investors, and God provided us fishes and loaves every step of the way. But Marty, was very hard. It took us a while to get those fishes and loaves for principal photography.
Right.
Then we used those, but we now need money to edit the film, and we hired Bill Ebel, an amazing editor, who edited Overcomer and oh my gosh, Courageous. And so he has a salary, so we had to raise money for that. After we finished that, we needed to raise money for the remaining of post, color correction, sound design by Nathan Ashton, who Nathan did an amazing job. Our colorist, Dan Edwards, did an amazing job out of California. And then we needed money for our composer, James Cavell, who composes for VeggieTales. And so we had to raise money each step along the way. Then the film doesn't reach people unless you get marketing, right? You have to market the movie or people do not know about your film.
Right.
So that had us go back out, and we created a different fund, a P&A, Prints and Advertising for marketing, and we increased the return there because we needed money quickly. And so we wanted to be able to bless those who wanted to put money in for the P&A. And so we had a lot of contributors, at 1,000, 2,000, that totaled out to be 50,000, which was our marketing budget, which is very, very, very small compared to your big boys for marketing. But we were advised that when you're doing a digital DVD, TV release, 50,000 is a good amount. So that's was the hardest thing during the production, was raising all of that capital.
Were there any point, and Jim can answer that if he's not holding baby James, were there any point during the whole process where you're like, you know what, it's not going to happen?
I don't think that we were ever at that point. My thing was like, it's not that it's not going to happen, it's that how is this going to happen? Every time that we needed something, God ended up providing. We were able to work a budget to do principal photography because we hadn't had our goal raised yet when we were ready to shoot. We were praying, and then we brought on a UPM who looked at it and drew a budget up that said, hey, we can do it for this amount. We're just going to have to, be tight and be creative. And we were able to shoot with, over 100,000 less than what we had hoped to have raised in order to shoot the movie. And what you see, we shot for the minimal amount that we did. So it actually ended up being a good test in faith was to move forward, and we did, and we have our movie done now. So that was a wonderful thing to have witnessed and been a part of.
Yeah, and what are some of the things that you learned?
Yeah, I think that. But I'd also worked on film crews in addition to being an actor. So I had an idea of how crews operated and how they ran. I'm pretty intuitive, and I like to pay attention and see how things go, and then try to emulate what I see. So, I first started working on micro budgets, YouTube videos, and I've worked on very multi-million dollar projects. So I've seen the spectrum, and being able to have those experiences are really helpful for myself as a producer to understand what it is the actors are expecting, especially if they have some pedigree to them and their names. And then also how to make sure everybody is treated fairly, and that, we wanted to provide for everybody. Like, we ended up providing 3 meals a day on our production, and most productions don't do that. Even your big ones, they don't do that, because we were on location. We are 40 minutes away, at least 25 minutes away from, what I would consider a very mediocre local restaurant, there wasn't an opportunity for people to go. So we provided 3 squares and had plenty of snacks available the entire time. So understanding how to navigate a set has been very beneficial for both Jenn and I, and then me as a producer, handling some of the logistics and stuff like that. It just ended up working together. What I did, I just learned more about the process, more about what the expectations are of your crew, and understanding how to interview properly moving forward on the next project, making sure, and because we learned so much about what we didn't know at the time, about certain aspects of the crew and certain areas that may have needed improvement and that kind of thing. But I also learned a lot more about just the whole process itself, that since it was just, we were so heavily involved in everything. It's the most I've ever worked on a project, obviously, even for the set. To be on set for over 25 days was something I've never done before either. And this time, and I'm completely responsible for it.
Right.
So it was a complete learning experience, and I think that we've got ourselves in a position, hopefully, that somebody will believe in us again to make another movie, and we hope that we can figure that out.
Awesome. Now, when does this movie come out, and where?
Amen. Well, Marty, it released November 17th, and it is available everywhere you watch movies, except Netflix. But Amazon, iTunes, Fandango Now, Vudu. It's in Walmart at the DVDs in Walmart. You could also go to Barnes & Nobles or Best Buy online and get it. It's going to be on the Christian Broadcast Network, CBN. And we are just so excited to be able to have partnered with so many amazing people. Mill Creek is our DVD distributor, and Vision Films is our domestic and international distributor. And the amount of work and the creativity and the heart and the talent that they've poured in, both companies, have been amazing. And then Anchor has brought our DVD and our merchandise to Christian bookstores. So we're in the Ma and Pa Christian bookstores across the country. Whoever was interested in bringing in the DVD and the merchandise. And our bracelet, which is the main story point of our movie, is selling on QVC. And so I got to be on QVC to share about the bracelet and, how that bracelet can really minister and help girls and women overcome those lies about their value. And it's just awesome.
How was that whole experience with QVC?
Oh, my goodness. To get there was an anointed answer to prayer. lots of hard work. And then when I was on air with Terry Conpeck, my friend who's the host, I had to hold back tears because I was overwhelmed by the anointing that God allowed for that opportunity. And
wow.
You could watch the segment. It's 7 minutes. You could watch it if you go to QVC and you type in The Farmer and the Belle. You'll be able to find the bracelet. Or you could go to our website, thefarmerandthebelle.net, or just Google The Farmer and the Belle and you'll find us. And you could go and you could click to QVC there. Those are two ways to be able to see the segment. It was so much fun.
So can they get the movie and the bracelet on your website?
Absolutely. We actually have all of our products. Our children's storybook, Beautiful Mabel, which is about kindness, is written by Veggie Tales co-creator Mike Norwalkie. Also, people know him as Larry the Cucumber. He killed it. And then Sarah Jo Floyd made the most beautiful illustrations that are just going to classically warm a mama and daddy's heart for their kid. And then we have a devotional that unlocks revelation of what each inscription on this bracelet means, that has been created by psychologists, pastors, and we ran through test groups with them to be able to ensure that these messages truly help minister to women. And that devotional book is written by Michelle Cox and myself, but Michelle is the author. I don't know what I'm doing as a writer. I just shared the research that we did with the test groups. Michelle Cox, actually, people have probably read her books. She partnered with Brian Bird. Brian Bird is the creator of the series on Hallmark, When Calls the Heart. And Michelle and Brian wrote the devotional, When God Calls the Heart, that is extremely successful Hallmark's brand. And so she wrote our devotional called Divine Beauty, Becoming Beautiful Based on God's Truths. And that book, the children's book, and the bracelet are all in the movie, and they're selling on our website, thefarmerandthebelle.net. You would just navigate to the shop page, and we have a bundle where you could buy all of them for a discounted rate. Our soundtrack, Marty, is off the chain.
Yes, it is.
It's produced by Justin Peters, and we've got ridiculous, amazing singers. John Schneider sings on it. Becca Shea sings on it. Rhonda Vincent, who's won a Grammy for being a bluegrass singer with the Justin, sings one of my favorite songs, Santaland, on it. It is, like, if you like Duck Dynasty's Christmas album, you need to get the Farmer and the Belle soundtrack because there's so much fun in this Christmas album. And that's also on our website as well. It's just a blast.
And what's the website?
thefarmerandthebelle.net. N-E-T, and Belle is BELLE/shop, thefarmerandthebelle.net/shop. But honestly, if you just Google The Farmer and the Belle, we're one of the top search results, so that will navigate you to the website as well.
Perfect. Now, I have to ask you this. After watching the movie, what are you hoping people take away from this film?
I really, 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 really want people to say that was so much fun for my family. And every year we're going to make it a tradition to usher in the spirit of Christmas with this really good feel-good movie, The Farmer and the Belle Saving Santaland. You know, that also gives us those pearls of wisdom, why we are valuable, and understanding that truth from God.
Awesome. Now, there's a couple of questions that I'd like to ask. The first one is if you, and this could be either you or Jim, right? So if you had to give an advice to your young self, what would that advice be?
Trust God. His plan is always good. When you are putting your own control in the driver's seat, surrender that to God because his plan is always good. That would be what I would tell my younger self, as in 8 hours ago when I was having a velociraptor moment of production, and my younger self as 15 years old when I don't know anything about anything, just starting my career, pursuing my passion for telling stories on screen.
Right. And would Jim like to answer that question?
Don't be afraid to fail. Just continue to do the work.
Love it.
That's
Love
good.
it.
That's like a bumper sticker, Jim.
I know. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Oh, gosh, this is great. This came from Ken Wales, who created the TV series Christie, and he also created Pink Panther. Ken is, I think, in his 80s now. He said, whatever entry position you are in, you work that position with honor, with respect, with your whole heart. And you'll develop your relationships in that area. And those relationships are long-lasting, and opportunity will come as a result. And so when an opportunity allows you to volunteer, or it's a low-paid position, like he shared that he worked in the mailroom, and he was working in this mailroom, and it was just so completely despisable by most people. But he worked with such level of excellence, and during that experience, he just rose and grew and grew and grew in his career, where he was eventually mentored by Walt Disney. By Walt Disney, he was mentored by.
Wow.
Walt Disney ended up paying for his education, and it was awesome. And then Ralph Winter also had a similar story. I remember him sharing at a 168 event that's run by John David Ware about work at an entry-level position and do it excellently, and opportunity will rise from there. So that's the advice I would give.
Wow. It's been a pleasure speaking with you both. I encourage everybody to go get a copy of this phenomenal movie. I've got a chance to watch it. You have to watch it. It's fun. Your entire family is going to enjoy it. And go get the bracelet, the soundtrack, support so that they could make the sequel.
Yay.
Any last words?
Marty, thank you so much for our friendship through the years. International Christian Film Festival has been a gift of learning. The education that you've had there has inspired a lot of the journey of the making of this film. The relationships made through International Christian Film Festival has really just spawned goodness. And this past year, we were just so honored to be in competition with an incomplete film because we didn't have scenes with our agent yet. And you guys still just recognized the talent in the movie and honored our screenwriters with an award. That was just so special.
It's well deserved, in my opinion. So, congrats again.
Thank you. And one of our writers, Ruben Evans, I met at the International Christian Film Festival, and that's how our friendship began.
That's fantastic. I love hearing that.
And he did a great job. Alrighty, Marty. Well, you have a beautiful day. Everyone listening, God bless you. Pursue your dreams. Know that you are a magnificent masterpiece, and your body and soul are marvelously made, which it tells us in songs.
Love it. Enjoy the baby, and have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you looking for a safe environment to watch movies and shows? Well, look no further. 24 Flix is your answer. You can watch thousands of movies, TV shows, without ever worrying about sexual content, nudity, or offensive language. You can get started with a free 2-week trial with 0 obligations. Watch on your mobile device, on your smart TV, anytime, anywhere. Sign up today on your smart device or go to www.24flix.com, the home of unlimited family entertainment.